Friends, if you're familiar with Orange County and the music scene, then you have for sure heard of, been to, enjoyed, spent a memorable evening, saw your favorite band play at Chain Reaction. And even though most folks think it's already had its last shows, that would be true. It has had its final shows for the public. But tonight is the final show. The friends and family show, family reunion, a gathering of a bunch of people that this little shitty building will go on to live in the hearts and minds of so many people that this was a sense of community, a sense of music, a sense of inspiration, and a sense of belonging for folks that maybe didn't feel like they had a place to belong. Bricky here, so excited to share with many of you the for real final night, the behind the scenes final night of Anaheim, Orange County, Southern California music institution. Even if you've never been to Chain Reaction, I'm pretty sure in every city in America that ever had a music scene has their own version of Chain, right? Like there's these small little like off the beaten path venues that are the right size for, you know, the up and coming, the establishing, the developing. That's where the real sense of community, I believe, starts in the music scene, is when the venue is small enough that there's not a lot of risk. The type of venue where, you know, bands roll through when they're on their way up. But then on all the nights in between, when you don't have that band that's gaining that momentum, it gives the local bands a place to play together, and that's where friendships are made, relationships are made, and communities are built. And it's awesome being here tonight. But seeing everybody come out for the last time and seeing all the kids and strollers and, you know, the punk rockers had to grow up, they had to have kids. And, you know, when you have an establishment that's now right on the edge of 30 years old, 3 decades of entertaining young people, building a music scene, celebrating culture, it's pretty awesome to see all the family and all the different folks coming out here. Very, very much a family reunion vibe, and just waiting in line for the cheeseburger and just, you know, talking to my own crew, but then hearing everybody else kind of bump into each other and reminisce and talk about things. There's just an unbelievable vibe. It's awesome that it's not completely slammed and it's not crowded. Like, Andy and his family have done an amazing job of curating like one last send-off. And after being here so many times when you could barely walk, it's nice to come here when it definitely does feel like a picnic. Maybe not as punk as some of the other nights, but definitely has an amazing vibe nonetheless. Before the music happened, our good friend Andy, who invited all of us out, everyone here's friend or family, hopped on the stage to say a quick thank you to everybody for making Chain Reaction such a monumental part of an amazing career my man has in music. He does so many things well beyond this scale. I give him so much props for keeping this thing going as long as he could with all the other truly massive things that he has on his plate. My dude is crushing the music industry and has kept this going as long as he could, and probably way longer than was actually logical.
And I'm very grateful that I have built my life around the friendships and the community that this place has brought me. Coming here tonight, I'm constantly reminded of that, but it's just been an honor to kind of be the people that get to usher in the next generation of artists, and bands and fans. You know, a lot of artists drove across the coast when there wasn't so many venues and had their first shows here, or first successful shows, or actually sold some merchandise, or was able to put, you know, gas in the tank for the next show. I think a lot of tour managers, I think a lot of managers and agents learned to cut their teeth here just like we did. Chain Reaction's always been the place that invests in these artists, and we love the investment back. I'm glad that all my friends are in this room.
You know, the best thing about venues, music venues, punk rock clubs is that they give people a sense of community, a sense of home. And a place like Chain, which I could have swore in my mind it held like 500 people, it's 250 people. That is a real like stepping stone in a lot of bands' musical path. But a lot of times those are the bands that have the traction, that are building the community, that have kind of that early adopter momentum. They mean so much to the people that know who they are. And it only takes 1,000 dedicated followers or fans or friends to make a project take off. And places like this, they give those type of bands and those type of fans a sense of community. And if it wasn't for places like this, I don't know where so many people in my generation would have gone. Like, I honestly never felt like I fit in until I went to my first punk rock show. And even though, it was crazy intimidating seeing all the people that showed up to see Agnostic Front play in 1989, but I got over that intimidation. I set it as a goal to become a part of that scene, and that's where I found myself. And also, it was awesome because at the age of 15, discovering straight edge and already being of the mindset that, like, no judgment on you. If you want to drink and do drugs, that's all on you. Straight edge for me has been my personal journey. It's been my personal voyage. But at the age of 15, finding the straight edge community, finding other people like me that just, wanted to get rowdy and wanted to party, but just didn't want to drink and do drugs. It just instantly gave me a spot, a place where I felt like I belonged. And then as I got older and I got into a band, I realized that there were little satellites this spread all across America. And this is before the internet. This is an organic community, an organic growth of, all the cool kids and all the cool markets kind of all knew each other, and we were all friends. And you would go to, New Bedford to one of the festivals, or Michigan to the festival, to Ohio to a festival, and you would just instantly see all your friends and all the bands, as well as the people that ran the record labels, the people that were just the fans that went to all these things. Like, it was for real a community, and it felt so great pre-internet to know that you had really good friends in every city. So even though Chain Reaction didn't raise me, I was raised in this community, and I was raised in little places like this that eked in personality and could always brag about all the bands that made a stop on the way to wherever they went. Like, I think this is like ridiculous, like Maroon 5 kind of got discovered here. This is a part of their chapter. But regardless, let's not make this about Adam Levine. It is always amazing to step into one of these spots and just see what it means to the community. And they're all going away. The lawyers, the insurance, the rates, like what it costs to be punk rock, you just can't afford anymore. So sadly, another chapter that's closing from our youth. But kind of the theme for this week, right? Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And I definitely smile when I think about these years, because I just wouldn't have been able to ever become an artist, an entrepreneur, a dreamer, and really feel so rich by all the people that I've met. Like, you wouldn't think that a guy that covers theme parks or daily vlogs would have to use his punk rock mindset, but I 100% have. And one of the main things I learned from this is be respectful to everybody. When you hang out in a community full of misfits, you really learn to respect everybody and to not judge a book by its cover. And, I meet so many different people on this new path that I'm on, many times people that are very different than me. I entertain tons of people every day, give companionship to tons of people every day that have very opposing views to me. And I like that. I like knowing that in this world, none of that matters, and we can just be friends. And whatever our commonality is, whether it's theme parks or travel or YouTube or social media or whatever it is that brings somebody to the table, I just like the feeling that people can still be friends even though maybe they have opposing views. I mean, that's the way it was for the first 40 years of my life. It's only a recent change that if somebody had a different view to you, then they were instantly your enemy. I don't believe in that. I think we're all on the same team, and places like this help me establish that viewpoint. And, you know, meeting so many different people and having so many different types of friends, when folks come up and say hi to me, that's my mindset of this is another friend. And I value friendship and I value people above and beyond everything else in my life. My rich reward in this lifetime is all the people that I have met. And last week has been a real reminder of the value and power of that. And being here tonight and seeing this community just reminds me that I am but a pebble on the beach when it comes to how far communities go, how far music scene goes. And my experience that feels intense to me is just one of a million. And there is something so beautiful about that. And if you look at the commemorative t-shirt and poster they made for tonight, you might have a little indication of who's playing the last show. Not a full band. One guy, one guitar, one great storyteller, one great singer.
Because it saves the day, I discovered other artists, some that influenced them, and it's changed my life. It changed how I viewed music and art. And you know, we got to see him in 2001. We got to do it, but we got to be fans, and still a fan today. And very fortunate that Chris Connolly says he is here to kind of wrap this thing up for us. So, thanks, Chris.
And saviors go, please Savior strive. Get us as far as far can be. Get us away from tonight. Get us say I'm sorry. I didn't need to yell. I'm having a bad week. I miss my mom. We drive this dance on the gas, the world that's flying like yes. So they can smell big waves of light. The radio's playing Queen, and we're rocking out.
Through with being cool. I'm pretty sure that the folks at Run Chain are like, yeah, it's been a great ride, but I am through with all the hassles that it takes to run, you know, a smaller all ages club where there's stage diving and, you know, all the things that need to happen to make it culturally feel genuine. But, you know, insurance wise, society wise, like these things are probably close to being done, if not very, very rare. And that is sad because places like this one and all of the ones that mirror it across the country, those are places where people like me were raised and met so many of my friends. And by the way, so many of the people that I met from the punk rock scene went on to do absolutely amazing things. Like, this is a community that teaches you DIY, do it yourself. And in that lesson of like, if you want to put out a record, record one. You want to release it, release it. And you know, we're talking about doing it before you had a laptop and all of that software sitting in your lap. Like, it really molded you to think the only thing that limited you was your imagination. And it's been fascinating to see how many people I met through this world went on to be truly successful people. Like, you know, successful emotionally, doing things that they love, but also successfully monetarily. Like, I know a lot of very wealthy people that were raised from this scene because this mindset literally tells you there are no limitations, only you.
So I'll walking in the streets until my heels bleed. Then I'll sing out my song in case the birds wish to sing along. And I'll dedicate tunnel to the center of the universe. Well, here I am, don't know how to say this. Only thing I know is awkward silence. You're right, it's close when you're around me to shut me out. me, to shut me out. Well, here I am, don't know how to say this. Only thing I know is awkward silence. Your eyes close when you're around me, to shut me out, to shut me out. Don't shut me out, to shut me out. Don't shut me out, to shut me out. And don't count me out, to shut me out. Don't shut me out.
And in a weird holiday season of endings, the show ends, the history of the club ends, I should say, with Chris from Saves the Day playing At Your Funeral, which is kind of fitting for the end of a venue, and I guess kind of also oddly weird for the week that I have had. Wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but you know, that's how life is, that's how music is, that's how pop culture is. It sneaks up on you when you're not expecting it.
The song will become the anthem of your underground. You're 2 floors down, getting high in the back room. And if I flooded out your house, do you think you'd make it out?
Gus.
You burn up before the water fills your lungs. And at your funeral, I will sing the requiem. This song will become the anthem of your underground. You're 2 floors down, getting high in the back room. And if I flooded out your house, do you think you'd make it out? Or would you burn out before the water fills your and at your funeral, I will sing the requiem. I offer you my hand, it would hurt too much to watch you die. The lady on the dinner table, I will feed of it. With the apple in my mouth, the food that celebrates. I offer you my hand, it would hurt too much to watch you die. And at your funeral, I will sing the requiem. I offer you my hand, it would hurt too much to watch you die. Thank you so much.
And then even more surreal, after that, a friend came out on the stage and they played Green Day and Blink-182, which, you know, are two of our friends' favorite songs.
It all keeps adding up. I think I'm
aside from all that, really fun to see Chris play the Saves the Day songs, acoustic. Fun to see everybody come together, the families, the friends, the bond that unites us, the bond that ties us. What a kind of surreal and magical night to be a part of. Thank you so much for hanging out. I know today's video is a little bit different, but this is where today took me, where tonight took me. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments below. Chain reaction part of your voyage through music, or what was the name of the chain reaction where you lived? Would love to hear the clubs that raised you, because I've been to almost all of them, and they are all so damn special. I'm Bricky. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time. R.I.P. Chain reaction. What a week.